Hello and welcome back to the classes of Mastering Biology. Let us proceed further. We have already discussed the definition and the requirements of photosynthesis. So today we will talk about the site of photosynthesis. Where is this process of photosynthesis taking place? So let us talk about the site of photosynthesis. Now, when I say the site of photosynthesis, you all know what are the kitchen of plants. Yes, obviously the green leaves. Yes. So, site of photosynthesis is mainly the green leaves and other young green parts. This is the site for photosynthesis. But have you ever thought that why photosynthesis is taking place only here and nowhere else? All right. So today let us go into a little bit detail that why photosynthesis is happening here is because of the specific structure the leaf has. Leaf has the outer epidermis, the lower epidermis, and in between is present the special tissue which is called as the mesophyll tissue. Now, in between, we have the mesophyll tissue. Now, I've given the name mesophyll, which has two different types of cells. The elongated cells are called as the palisade tissue, and this is the spongy tissue, which has air spaces. If you can observe, I have left an air space here, just behind the stomata, right? I'll tell you each and everything about this. Now, leaf is covered with cuticle to decrease the or lower the rate of transpiration. This is the upper epidermis. This one is the lower epidermis. All right. This is the stomata. Now you can observe that I have not drawn any stomata on the upper surface of the leaf because leaves, when they are placed like this, they are called dorsiventral leaves, and such leaves have stomata on the lower surface and not on the upper surface. Again, an adaptation by the plants to reduce the rate of transpiration. All right. So stomata are present on the lower surface of these leaves. Now these yellow elongated cells are called as the palisade tissue, and these are called as the spongy parenchyma. And collectively, the palisade tissue and the spongy parenchyma are the mesophyll cells forming mesophyll tissue, and this special tissue is the reason why green plants can perform photosynthesis. Why? We can't observe anything here? Yes, they have specialized structures which are called as the chloroplast, which are present on the margin of these palisade cells like this. And when they arrange themselves to absorb maximum, this is how they are present, the chlorophyll. the chloroplast. All right. Some chloroplast is present here also, but maximum photosynthesis is carried out in palisade cells. Not here. All right. So palisade tissue has the chloroplast, which is responsible for trapping the solar energy. This is the structure of leaf, which shows that the presence of mesophyll tissue is responsible for photosynthesis, and no other plant part has this mesophyll tissue. This mesophyll tissue contains the palisade tissue and the spongy parenchyma, and the palisade tissue has the structure that we have heard, chloroplast. You must have studied this as an organelle in your grade 9, where you have studied double membrane bound structure. All right. So now let us talk about the chloroplast. How does this chloroplast look? This chloroplast is a double membranous organelle. So this is the outer membrane. This is the inner membrane. The outer membrane is smooth though, but the inner membrane continues and form membranous part, and the single sac is known as thylakoid, the single membranous sac, and the complete stack is known as granum. Again, the singular and plural, granum and grana. So this is the outer membrane. This is the inner membrane. This single sac is a thylakoid. The single stack is a granum. So granum is the membranous part of the chloroplast. Now this inner membrane I was telling you is continuous, so it continues like this to form these membranous channels. These are called as stromal lamellae or intergranal channels. They are called as intergranal channels or the stromal lamellae. All right. Now, these thylakoids on their surface have chlorophyll pigment, and this chlorophyll pigment is responsible to trap all the solar energy. This is how it works. So, leaf internal structure has mesophyll tissue. Mesophyll tissue has these small structures called chloroplast. Chloroplast again have these grana on the surface of which chlorophyll pigment is present, which is trapping the sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. All right. Now, what is still missing in this diagram is the fluid part. There is a fluid part present, and this fluid part is known as stroma. The matrix of the chloroplast is known as stroma, and the membranous part of chloroplast is known as grana. Now, why I am talking about these two? Because in further when we study the process of photosynthesis, there these terms will come up again. That what is the role of happening in stroma and what part of photosynthesis is happening in grana. So please remember, grana is the membranous part and stroma is the matrix part. All right. Now, if I differentiate stroma and grana here, so grana is the membranous part and stroma is the matrix part of chloroplast. Right. What is it doing? Grana, you know, you've seen it has chlorophyll molecules. So what is it doing? It is trapping solar energy. When it is trapping solar energy, it is taking part in the light reaction of photosynthesis. And what is stroma doing? Stroma is not trapping light energy, but it has all the enzymes for dark reaction of photosynthesis. All the enzymes for dark reaction of photosynthesis are present here in stroma. All right. So this is the site for photosynthesis, the structure of the leaf, the structure. Please don't forget to tag your diagrams. This is figure chloroplast. In board exams also, you need to keep in mind always that whenever you're drawing something, please put a tag of what you've drawn. All right. Just don't leave the drawing like that you've drawn the diagram, you've not written anything, you've done the labeling and everything. Please mention the name. Here the name I think got deleted. I'll again rewrite it. TS of leaf. All right, this is lower epidermis. And this was stoma. So this is the site for photosynthesis. Now let us proceed to the process of photosynthesis. When I talk about the process of photosynthesis, the process of photosynthesis, I've already discussed the balanced chemical equation with you, but then again I will take that equation up here to explain you the process properly. The process of photosynthesis involves two steps, and these two steps are the light reaction and the dark reaction. All right. When I say light reaction and dark reaction, then something is happening. I will talk about the names and differences later, but let's come back to the equation of photosynthesis, which was 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives us C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6 water molecules. Now children, the very important point enters. What is light reaction? What is dark reaction? First of all, you need to keep in mind, if you remember in when we were studying the requirements, I told you while studying the requirement water, that breakdown or splitting up of water molecule takes place in the presence of light, which is known as photolysis of water. All right. And this photolysis is happening during photosynthesis. So photolysis means splitting up of water to release oxygen. This is what we've already discussed. So this is the first step of photosynthesis. This is the first reaction, which is light reaction. This is the light reaction. All right. The second one, CO2 is reduced to form carbohydrate, which is the dark reaction. So these are two reactions. The first is the light reaction. The second is the dark reaction. Now, why we can't say first dark and then light? We'll again come to this point in a few minutes from now. Please keep in mind that the splitting of water is a part of light reaction and converting of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate is a dark reaction. Now, if you can see, during this process, oxidation of water is taking place and reduction of carbon dioxide is taking place. So this is a redox reaction. All right, oxidation of water molecule is taking place and reduction of carbon dioxide is taking place. Now, what are the main differences or why we are using the word light reaction and dark reaction? So first thing that I want you to recall is the location. Where is light reaction happening? The light reaction happens in the grana of the chloroplast. The dark reaction happens in the stroma of the chloroplast. All right. The light reaction when happens in the grana of the chloroplast, it is responsible for splitting of water and release of oxygen, right? Whereas in case of dark reaction, no oxygen is released. No oxygen is evolved. But yes, what is happening here? Synthesis of food, sugar synthesis. But is this sugar synthesis taking place in the light reaction? No. No sugar synthesis takes place during light reaction. Why are we saying light reaction and dark reaction? Is there something to do with the light? There has to be. But then what is it? Light reaction is said to be light dependent. And dark reaction is said to be light independent. What does this mean now? Light dependent and light independent. That means light reaction will always happen in the presence of light. And dark reaction, as the name is usually misunderstood, will happen in dark? No. It will happen independently of light. Whether light is present or absent, dark reaction can be carried out depending on the products of light reaction. All right. Now, what is it? Light reaction is giving out oxygen. Along with that, light reaction produces energy in the form of ATP and NADPH2, which is produced here. And here this energy is utilized. This energy is utilized here. The ATP and NADPH2, which are being produced during the light reaction, are being utilized in the process of dark reaction. Therefore, I said that light reaction has to happen first and it will be followed by dark reaction. Dark reaction cannot happen independently because it depends on these products. All right. So, the product of dark reaction will be sugar and the product of light reaction is ATP, NADPH2 along with oxygen. Fine. So, the site we have discussed. Now, can you tell me, based on the knowledge or information I have shared, that during which time of day dark reaction will take place and during which time of day light reaction will take place? Light reaction will always take place during the daytime. This will always take place during the daytime. And dark reaction will take place both day and night till the time the products are available. That is, the energy is available to us. I hope I am clear with the differences between the dark reaction and the light reaction. Please remember, the first one that will happen is the light reaction producing ATP and NADPH2, which will then be utilized in the dark reaction for synthesis of sugar. Clear here? All right. Now, Let us quickly move to the steps of photosynthesis. What are the steps as per the NCERT that you have to write? You have to write 3 steps. The first one is trapping of solar energy by chlorophyll pigment. Trapping of solar energy by chlorophyll pigment. The second is conversion of solar energy to chemical energy. Now please remember, chemical energy here means ATP and NADPH2. These are the 2 energy forms which will be utilized in dark reaction. What is again happening in the second step? Because we are talking about light reaction now, you must be able to correlate. So here, splitting of water molecules to release oxygen as a byproduct. Coming to the third step, synthesis of sugar by CO2 reduction. Reduction of carbon dioxide molecule to synthesize sugar. These are the 3 steps. Now you can clearly see this step is a part of the light reaction and this is a part of dark reaction. So synthesis of sugar has taken place. So these are the 3 main steps. Now just giving you a quick recap of what we have already done. The site of photosynthesis, the mesophyll tissue, the chloroplast having the chlorophyll pigment in the granum part, the membranous part. Then the process of photosynthesis which involve light reaction and dark reaction. I have marked that for you in the equation also, what is happening in which reaction. Then the differences between the light and the dark reaction. All right. Then the steps which are involved, you have to write these 3 steps of photosynthesis. All right. Moving to the next part. So our next topic is the factors which affect the rate of photosynthesis. The first one is light intensity. The intensity of light definitely affects the rate of photosynthesis. All right. Plants need a particular intensity of sunlight for which then only they can perform photosynthesis to their maximum. All right. If it is a cloudy day, the intensity decreases. If it is a bright sunny day, the rate of photosynthesis might increase initially, but if the intensity increases beyond the required limit, that is which can happen during a hot summer day, so the rate of photosynthesis is going to go down because of the degraded enzymes. All right, the enzymes activity go lower. Similarly, plants require an optimum temperature on which the rate of photosynthesis has to happen. If the temperature increases beyond that level, the rate of photosynthesis definitely goes down. The third requirement or the third factor which affects is carbon dioxide. The percentage of carbon dioxide is very less, we know. So plants can utilize that amount of carbon dioxide, and if the levels of carbon dioxide increases much more in the plant body, then the rate of photosynthesis will again decrease. Then the fourth one is water. Water we have already discussed that when the stomata closes to prevent the transpiration, at that time no gaseous exchange is also going to take place, again decreasing the rate of photosynthesis. So these are the factors which affect the rate of photosynthesis. The second is the last part of this lecture is the significance of photosynthesis. The first is this is the only process by which solar energy can be used to synthesize food. The only process by which green plants can use the solar energy. And that definitely this is the only way by which all the organisms can feed. So all organisms depend on photosynthesis for food. So this is the only source of food for all the living organisms on earth. And it maintains a balance between carbon dioxide and oxygen in the air. That means it helps to keep the air clean. All right. So this is all about photosynthesis, and I hope you are able to understand, and you've now understood how you have to present a 5-marker question. And I have given the headings also as subparts, so that even if a short question is asked, short topic is asked in the form of a question, you can easily answer that. You can easily present it in the same way that we have written. And children, don't forget to write notes of what you are reading, even online, so that when you're revising, you have your content, you have your notes which you can read through and you can revise quickly. Thank you. In the next class, we shall talk about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, how amoeba is performing nutrition, and how the human beings perform nutrition. That is the digestive system. All right. So thank you for today.